party is a private citizen. It's not a governmental entity. The governance of the party is done, of the country, is done through the elected representatives, which are fielded by Zanupf, including its president, to compete against any other political parties or formations which may want to be the leaders of Zimbabwe. That's a general election. And when a general election is done and a party wins, then it wins, it gets the right to govern that country. And we are happy to say that Zanupf has consistently been winning these elections in a democratic dispensation, which it started right from the formation of the Zimbabwe state. Unlike other revolutionary movements from other regions in the past, ZANU-PF decided that although it had won the liberation war militarily, or was on the verge of winning it militarily, it needed the baptism of the people of Zimbabwe through a vote to become the governing party of Zimbabwe. And that's exactly what we did in 1980. We went through an election which essentially endorsed our victorious ethos from the liberation war. But we have been faithful to that tradition of having elections. We are not a revolutionary party which says from bullet to office. We are a revolutionary party which created new grounds unprecedented in global affairs to say a revolutionary national liberation movement which is on the verge of victory accepts to be adjudicated by the electorate of that particular, the population of that country, to become the rulers. It's a tradition which Southern Africa since adopted, but the pallbearer, the pioneer to that tradition is ZANU-PF. So it is very important that we have this annual People's Conference every year, because it gives a chance for the membership of the party to question what has been going on in that particular year as we strive to fulfill our compact, our covenant with the people of Zimbabwe. And the president will be there to give the worksheet of what the government has been doing. A government which was delegated by ZANU-PF to rule on its behalf. So the government is rules on behalf of ZANU-PF because we have to satisfy the electoral aspects of our constitution. ZANU-PF does not directly run the government. But we need to supervise this work of the ministers. We need to supervise the work of the president. We need to supervise the work of the government agencies delegated by the constitution to fulfill the wishes of Zimbabwe. And what are the wishes? The wishes of Zimbabweans are to get a better life. They sacrificed all they did in the National Liberation War because there was the prospect of a better life. It was collective. Come from Norway, you come from those structures. And this is owed to our National Liberation War because we had to organize the people to overcome the menacing organizational ascendance of the British or offshoot of Rhodesia, which was in charge of this country. To win, we had to deliver an organizational capability, which was superior to the one which was existing, the colonial one. So the structures of ZANU-PF are sacrosanct. They are born out of experience. They are born out of the war, and they make the party have that pulse of the population so that we strive to work better so that we retain power. So this annual review is a serious affair by the party to make sure that ministers are accountable, to make sure that the president is accountable, that the president is delivered. And we are very happy on that note to say, according to what comes from the Central Committee, according to what comes from the Politburo, the government's worksheet is offering continued hope for Zimbabwe people. Hope had almost died by 2017. It has been revived. It is growing. It is alive among Zimbabweans. There's a new can-do spirit among Zimbabweans. That can-do spirit of a people who faced the most formidable challenge of the anti-colonial war to create a modern army, and emerged victorious against the most capable empire of all times, the British Empire. It gave Zimbabweans a confidence about what they can do for themselves. It's called a can-do spirit. We have that can-do spirit. Unfortunately, this can-do spirit had flagged down towards the dying ages, the dying era of this First Republic. People had lost confidence in Zimbabwe, and we were a pariah state. We were a laughing stock of even our neighbors, and we generally had lost that confidence about what we can do. Thanks to Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa and his ascendance to power, in a short 7 years, we have changed the whole scenario. A very short, not even 6 years. The difference between the economy in 2017 and what it is today is like midnight October sun and midnight December storm night. You know, there is such a huge gulf, difference about what we've achieved, and it is for this reason that we have this people's conference, for people to cheer what their president has been doing, but also to ask him to tweak his administration so that it can do better, so that it can continue to deliver on what the party promised, to turn Zimbabwe into a middle income nation by 2030. And all indications to date, all the indicators point to the fact that we are on the right road. First, there are the micro indicators from institutions like the World Bank and the IMF. They have all come to accept that Zimbabwe's economy is growing at more than 6 to 7% per annum. It is the fastest growing in the region, and this growth is sustained. This is not a figure from somebody who loves Zanupf. These institutions were always very critical of Zanupf in the past, but they've eaten humble pie. They now accept that Zimbabwe is a growth economy. This has happened because of the turnaround of the president in the last 5 years. There's also, at macro level, the general living standards of the people of Zimbabwe are getting better. Albeit, those who started getting exted came from rural areas, because we had to carry out a lot of agro farming reforms so that our people can produce more crops, can have food security, and increasingly now we are graduating from food security to cash crops. You saw what we did this year, 354 million kilograms of tobacco. This is almost 20 to 30% higher than the crop last year. But more to the point is that at the height of the colonial era, the white farmers produced 200 million kilograms. We have gone to 354 kilograms. This is big, and this is high quality tobacco being produced by Zimbabwean farmers. How many of them? Over 160 to 180,000 farmers from across the land producing the golden leaf to supply the largest tobacco auction floors in the world, and the quality keeps on rising. Zimbabweans are proving their mettle that a difficult crop like tobacco, they can master it to satisfy the demands of the blend tobacco, which is so much desired by cigarette manufacturers. The flavor of Zimbabwean tobacco is a must for cigarette manufacturers all over the world. And our farmers are living to that expectation of those cigarette manufacturers in the world. This is major in Urungwe, in Marondera, in Rusape, in Centenary. This is major. We have also done the same with food crops. Now we are harvesting wheat. We expect to have a bumper harvest of wheat. Zimbabweans in a short period of time have converted the dry lands of the winter dry season into lush green and later golden farm fields of wheat, good high quality wheat. We now become self-sufficient in wheat. No, the only other country on the African continent is is Ethiopia, which is self-sufficient. This is a major achievement in terms of food security. Yes, this year they may have not been in some maize issues, but people have migrated to produce tobacco, which gives them more money. So out of the money which they get from the tobacco, they can buy the maize. So it's not like, it's a loss even if our maize stocks have gone low. No, people are discerning markets. Markets are very, very capitalist minded. They follow the market and they see the crop which rewards best and they go for it. I'm just giving you, we are going to Manicaland. This is a province which goes to so many microclimates, and all of them now are providing macadamias, are providing avocados, are providing flowers, are providing all sorts of diverse crops which Zimbabwe used to be known for in Rhodesia, but which had gone down. But our new farmers, and together with the stability in the farming, even the retained white farmers, they are all working shoulder to shoulder in Manicaland to restore those microclimates to the diversity of crops which are so important for the descending palates of the world consumers. Our blueberries are the stuff of legend. Now the latest market to join our blueberry bandwagon is China. This is 1.4 billion people. They are now hungry for Zimbabwean blueberries. I see a boon for Zimbabwean farmers. These are the things which the president has been doing at macro level to change people's lives. Proposal, food security at basic level. People no longer, now we are having village units, which are, each village has got a village unit. So we are using solar. It is being husbanded in water. Is now being, I go to a drip tech factory, a shop in Harare or anywhere in the country. I almost like I'm at a chicken inn. People are buying drip pipes to go and do farming in a queue, like they are buying chicken in. These are Zimbabweans who are responding to what the president has done. It means that water is being saved. It means dry season is being removed from the calendar of production. It's being restored to an all 365-day year of cropping. This is what Zanupf have done, and we've got this army of young people on motorbikes going all over the country advising farmers as to how to farm. This is provided by the central bank government. What are we doing? We are uplifting living standards of the ordinary people in the villages. This is a constituent which is so important because 70% of the voters in Zimbabwe are in rural areas. And this is the constituent which bore the brunt of the liberation struggle. They are now beginning to see results which affect their lives. So there's prosperity around. I can dwell a lot on the micro level. The mining sector is on a runaway success. It's a streak of success. We have the best billionaires in the world in Zimbabwe doing lithium. We have billionaires in the world. We have the top ones in the world doing steel in Zimbabwe. We have the others who are coming in to do chrome into Zimbabwe. These are big changes where Zimbabwe's footprint on the global mining stage is being registered. This is the success of the Second Republic. We had no investors at all during the dying years of the First Republic. President Mnangagwa, under Open for Business, has turned it around. Now Zimbabwe is being trooped to by the top-notch miners, billionaire miners of the world. It's changing. We are the only country now within Africa with a thoroughly modern steel plant, which is now making us having inroads in our relations of joint steel management with South Africa, because Zimbabwe is streaked ahead in the production of steel. I can tell you now on your phone, we just the Dinson Steel has just been given a clean bill, an award by the South African Bureau of Standards. This is big. It means that our steel can now apply the South African market, which is the largest in sub-Saharan Africa, and still the largest on the African continent. So these are things, and with the Palm River plant, if you sit in Mat South, which is going to be a major metallurgical area, but there are exciting things which have happened in Hwange. Hwange has come back rolling as the energy bank of Zimbabwe. Remember when the colonials came, the first thing which they did was to build a railway line to Hwange. Why? Because they were steamships. They were coal engines. The railways moved with coal. So Rhodes identified Hwange as the place which would provide the energy for the traction of the country. That's why the railway went to Hwange first. Now Hwange has come back big time. It's a booming town. We now have to look at restoring all our railway infrastructure, and I'm glad the president is seeking out the support of the masters of global railway engineering, the Chinese, to come and help us build the infrastructure which will interconnect all these aspects of mining. Because mining, you can carry crops by trucks, but mining, you need railways. So there is a very bright future for railway, and President is looking at how we can close the gap between the growth in our economic, in particular the mining sector, and the provision of infrastructure to service this rapidly growing, developing mining sector.